If I told you that laziness isn't your enemy, but your teacher, that it's not something to fight, but something to understand, because inside every moment of laziness is a message, a signal, a quiet truth waiting to be heard. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're just drifting, unanchored. And Stoicism. Stoicism is the anchor. It's not a motivational speech. It's not hype. It's not a push. It's a pull toward the truth. And the truth is simple. You were not made to waste your days. Marcus Aurelius didn't write in his journal because it was trending. He wrote because it was survival. His mind, like ours, was a battlefield. In Meditations, he wrote to himself, not to history. One of those lines hits harder than most. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. Now pause. Let that land. Not the work of a king, not of an emperor, not of a warrior or a philosopher, just a human. What does that mean? It means that being human is about rising, about effort, about contribution, about showing up for life. Laziness tells you, just 5 more minutes. Stoicism replies, you don't have 5 more years to waste. We like to think laziness is about rest, but rest is sacred. Rest renews us. Laziness is different. Laziness is when you're not tired, but you stop anyway. It's when you know what matters, but you scroll past it. It's not rest. It's resistance. The Stoics faced the same resistance. Epictetus was a slave. Seneca was exiled. Marcus led an empire during plague and war. They weren't unfamiliar with struggle, but they didn't make excuses. They made a practice out of acting well, regardless of their circumstances, and especially when it was hard. That's the first major shift Stoicism offers. Stop waiting for better conditions, better moods, better energy, a better time. There's no better time than now. And the more you delay, the more that delay becomes a habit. Procrastination becomes identity. I'll do it later becomes I never started. And one day, the cost of that is everything you could have been. Seneca said, while we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away. So how do we respond to laziness the Stoic way? We simplify. We stop negotiating with it. We stop giving it airtime. We don't try to beat it with a 5-hour motivational video or a bulletproof morning routine. We beat it by taking the next right action, however small, however boring, however uncomfortable. The Stoic doesn't rely on emotion. The Stoic doesn't wait to feel like it. The Stoic acts because it is time to act. Let's take a moment to be brutally honest. Most of the time, we know exactly what we need to do. We just don't want to do it because we're tired, because we're anxious, because we fear failure, because deep down, part of us wonders if we're even capable. The Stoic sees that fear and moves anyway. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that he was not his moods, not his fatigue, not his doubts. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That line isn't abstract. It's practical. You don't control the weather, or your boss, or how tired you feel after a poor night's sleep. But you do control what you do next, even if it's small, especially if it's small. Laziness, like momentum, compounds. The more you give into it, the more it grows. But action compounds too. One small win leads to another. One 5-minute task finished becomes a spark, and sparks lead to fire. The Stoic knows this. Discipline is just a series of honest moments. The world today makes laziness easy. Comfort is infinite. You can scroll, stream, snack, and sedate yourself endlessly. It's possible to live your whole life in passive mode. That's the danger. You don't even realize you're drifting until you've gone too far to see the shore. The Stoics practiced the opposite: clarity, stillness, consciousness. They ask themselves hard questions every day. Who am I becoming? What matters? What am I avoiding? Those are the questions that turn laziness into learning. You're not lazy. You're just not connected to your deeper purpose. You've forgotten what it means to matter, not in a grand, world-shaking way, but in a deeply personal one, to matter to yourself. So let's take it deeper. What if laziness is actually fear? Fear of not being good enough. Fear of starting and failing. Fear of change. Because when you commit to action, you leave behind excuses. You step into risk. You expose yourself to reality. That takes courage. The Stoic faces that fear head-on. Doesn't run. Doesn't mask it with productivity hacks. They feel it. And then they do the thing anyway. Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Let that echo. Most of the obstacles you feel aren't real. They're stories, mental fog, narratives you've accepted without questioning. I'm not motivated. I'm too tired. I'm not ready. But here's the secret. Motivation follows action. Energy follows purpose. You get tired not from working hard, but from avoiding what you're meant to do. The Stoics called this living according to nature. Not the trees and clouds kind of nature. Your nature. Your ability to think, to decide, to act. Every time you deny that, you suffer. So instead of fighting laziness, return to your nature. You are a builder, a creator, a doer. You're here to grow, not float. And growth always begins at the edge of your comfort. Ask yourself, when was the last time I finished something that mattered? That sense of satisfaction, that inner nod, is not found in dopamine hits or cheap entertainment. It's found in alignment, in living like you were made to live. And yes, the world will keep tempting you to sit, to scroll, to wait. But you're not here for that. You're here for more. Now, let's get even more practical. Feeling lazy? Try this. Stand up. Literally. Posture influences the mind. Now choose one task. One clear action. Do it completely. No tabs open. No phone. No music. Just attention. Then pause. Breathe. And feel the shift. That is your will, returning. Build on it. Moment by moment. You don't need to change your life today. You need to change how you relate to this moment. That's Stoicism. It's not about building the perfect routine. It's about building the kind of mindset that acts, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient. Because that mindset is unshakable. It doesn't rise and fall with the weather, with moods, with likes and views. It is built on bedrock. Every day, you're either reinforcing that mindset or eroding it. Choose wisely. And if you fall short, good. The Stoics believed failure was fuel. They didn't cry over bad days. They used them. They journaled. They reflected. They recalibrated. You can do the same. Start small. Stay honest. And when in doubt, act. Laziness has no power where clarity lives. So be clear. Be decisive. Be steady. And if nothing else, remember that time is not waiting for you. You are not promised tomorrow. This isn't a dress rehearsal. You get one life. Live it like the Stoics would. With purpose. With grit. With courage. If this message spoke to you, if it helped you see yourself a little more clearly, hit that like button. Not just for the algorithm, but to mark this moment. To say, I choose to show up. And if you want more content like this, Stoic wisdom for modern problems, calm motivation without the fluff, and deep reminders of who you are, subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. And more importantly, it keeps you connected to something real. Leave a comment. What part of this hit home the most for you? What are you going to act on today? And remember, you don't need to feel like it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. One step, one breath, one action. You've got this. See you in the next one.